Hello again. In this video we will start talking about the sketch tools. So after opening SolidWorks, select the front and start a sketch. As you can see, we are perpendicular now to the plane. If you're not, select the sketch, then select normal too. Make sure to have the same orientation. Basically, when talking about the sketch tools, we are talking about lines, rectangles, circles, slots, polygons, arcs, ellipses, and so on. So for now, we'll start with the simplest tool, which is the line tool. In SolidWorks, we have three types of lines. We have regular line, and we have center lines, and we have midpoint lines. Let's start with the first one. Line is defined as the shortest distance between 2 points. So to define a line, we need to define 2 points. After selecting the line from the ribbon here, click anywhere in the working area, move the mouse, and click again. Now, SolidWorks assumes that you want to create a line chain. That's why, if you move the mouse again, you still have the line command active. So, move the mouse again and click anywhere. To exit the command, just select it again from the ribbon. To delete any segment, just select it and hit the delete button on the keyboard. Now, the second type is center line. The same way, sketch a center line, then exit the command. Later on in this course, we will see the difference between the regular line and the center line. The third type is midpoint line. So the first click here indicates the midpoint of a line, and the second click indicates one of the ends, like this. Now, we are only interested in creating these entities without dimensions and without any relations. After we finish the part of creating entities, we will talk about dimensioning and relations. Now, to clear the screen, use the scroll to zoom out. Then from this side, click and hold, then select everything. Then hit the delete button on your keyboard. That's it for creating lines. In the next video, we will talk about creating rectangles. Hello again. In this video, we will continue talking about sketch tools. So now, start a new sketch on the front, for example. So go to this menu here and click the small arrow. As you can see, we have many types of rectangles in SolidWorks. The first one is corner rectangle. Select it. Here you can see we have number 1 and we have number 2. So this icon indicates the way to create this type of rectangle. Basically, we need the first click and the second click. The first one indicates the first corner and the second one indicates another corner. So click here, move the mouse and click again. The rectangle is created. Now, finish the command, and from here, select center rectangle. And this time, look at this. The first click indicates the center of this rectangle, and the second click indicates a corner. So, click. As you can see, the first click was the center point of this rectangle. Move the mouse, and click again to define one of the corners. Finish the command. Again, 3-point corner rectangle. As you can see, until now we only created vertical or horizontal lines. In some cases, you will need to sketch an inclined rectangle. As you can see now, we have number 1, 2, and 3. So, the first click indicates the first point. Now you can move the mouse to indicate the angle. Number 2, and then click again. Another one, number 1, indicate the angle, move the mouse, and click again. Use the scroll to zoom out. Let's see the fourth type. 3-point center rectangle. It's the same here, but the only difference is that the first click indicates the center point of the rectangle. So, click, then move the mouse, click again, then do it again. So the first click indicates the center point. The second click indicates the midpoint of one of the lines. Then the third click indicates the corner. And as you can see, the rectangle is created. The last type we have here is parallelogram. Now, as you can see, all the angles we have are 90s. So, it's not the case when sketching a parallelogram. Here, first click, second one, then you can move the mouse and you can have different angle. We have 2 horizontal lines. So now try something different. Click, give it some angle, and now give it another angle here. So we have 4 types of rectangles, and we can sketch parallelograms too. In the next video we will talk about circles and how to sketch them. For now, hit Ctrl A in the keyboard, then press the delete button. Hello again. In this video we will talk about sketching circles. Start a sketch on the front plane, for example. We have 2 types of circles in SolidWorks. The first one is center circle, and the second one is perimeter circle. As you can see, we need 2 clicks. The first one indicates the center point, and the second one defines the radius of the circle. So, click anywhere on the screen, move the mouse, and the second click will place the radius. Then finish the command. For the second type, as you can see, we need 3 clicks on the perimeter of this circle. So, the first click, the second one, and lastly, the third one. This type, in some cases, may be more useful than this type. Try to sketch a corner rectangle. If you want to sketch a circle that be tangent to this line and tangent to this line, so selecting this type, by clicking here, you will have the first tangent, and by clicking here, you will have the second tangent. Later on in this course, we will talk about tangency and all the types of relations in SolidWorks. Hit Ctrl A, then delete. In the next video, we will talk about slots. Hello again. We will continue talking about sketch tools. Start a sketch on the front plane. There are 4 types of slots in SolidWorks. The first type is straight slot. As you can see, you will need 3 clicks to define this slot. The first one defines the first center point, the second one defines the second center point, and the third click defines the radius or the width of the slot. So, click, move the mouse, then click again, then move the mouse, then click again. You can have it like this, or vertical. Use the scroll to zoom out. The second type is center point straight slot. Now, the first click indicates the center of the slot, the second point indicates the center point of one of the ends, and the third click indicates the radius or the width of the slot, as you can see. Finish the command. The third type is 3-point arc slot. Basically, we will create an arc using 1, 2, 3 clicks. The first click indicates the starting point of the arc, the second click indicates the end point of the arc, and the third click indicates point on the arc itself, and finally, the fourth click defines the width of the slot. So, the first click, the starting point of the arc, the second click is the end point of the arc. Now, we need to define the radius of this arc by clicking the third click. And finally, after placing the arc, move the mouse to define the width of the slot, then click again. Now, the fourth type is center point arc slot. In this case, as you can see, the first click indicates the center point of the arc, then the second click indicates the starting point, the third click indicates the end point, and finally the fourth click indicates the width of the slot. So let's start the first click, the center point, the second click, the starting point of the arc, move the mouse. Now the third click indicates the end point of the arc. Now moving the mouse and clicking again will define the width of the slot, like this. Slot feature is a very useful feature. Later in this course we will see some applications on using it. In the next video we will talk about arcs. Hello again. In this video we will talk about arcs. To start, hit Ctrl A, then hit the delete button on the keyboard to clear the screen. In SolidWorks we have 3 types of arcs. The first one is 3-point arc. As you can see from the icon here, you need 3 clicks to place this type of arc. The first click defines the start point of the arc. The second point defines the end point of this arc, and finally the third point defines the radius. So, the first click indicates the start point, the second click indicates the end point, and finally you can define the radius by moving the mouse and clicking the third click. The second type is center point arc. As you can see from this icon, the first click defines the center point of this arc, the second click defines the start point of this arc, and finally the third click defines the end point of this arc. So the first click defines the center point, the second click defines the start point. You can go this way or you can go this way. Now, the third click defines the end point. Now, let's assume you have a line, something like this. Here we talk about the third type, tangent arc. So in this case, you have to have a line in the beginning. The first click defines the start point, and the second click defines the end point, like this. What you should know here is that we have a tangency here. If you look at this line and this arc, they are smooth here. Later on in this course, we will see this in detail when talking about sketch relations. This type can be used not only with lines, but with arcs and other geometries. Select it again, and this time click this point. As you can see, it's smooth here, which means we have a tangency. That's it for arcs. In the next video we will talk about polygons. Hello again. In this video we will talk about polygons. To start, clear the screen. Select polygon from the ribbon. Here you need to define the number of sides, and then we have two options: inscribed circle or circumscribed circle. Let's see them. So let's start with 5-side polygon. Keep this option and then click anywhere in the screen, move the mouse and click again. As you can see, this is our inscribed circle. It touches all the sides of this polygon. Now select the second type, and as you can see, we changed this to circumscribed circle. It touches the 5 points here. Let's say no polygon, and now select the first type and draw another one here. Here you can see the difference between them. We can increase the number of sides, so that's it for sketching polygons. In the next video we will talk about how to sketch an ellipse. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Hello again. In this video we will talk about how to sketch an ellipse. To start, clear the screen, and from the ribbon here select ellipse. To sketch an ellipse you need to define a major radius and a minor radius. So the first click indicates the center of the ellipse. Now, moving the mouse will define the major radius. Click, and now moving the mouse again will define the minor radius. The naming is not really important here. So all you need to know is that you need to define the center point, then move the mouse to define the first radius, then move the mouse and click again to define the second radius. By finishing ellipse command, we are done with sketch tools. We still have some tools, but later on in this course we will talk about them in detail. In the coming section, we will start talking about sketch editing tools. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.